Charles Sjolander.
Yay!
Charles? Charles, can we get it close?
That's really close.
What is it?
That's close. If you hear it in Swedish, it's like, oh my God. Hi. My story is structured like a song. Well, forgive me for that, I'm a songwriter. It has 4 verses, a refrain, and a bridge. So the first verse, I'm 10 years old. I'm on the beach just outside of Helsingborg, Sweden, camping. Now, I'm not there by myself. It's 1974. I'm there with my family. We are on the tail end of a European tour. But not your regular European tour. That sounds very grand. This was the, how can we do it? Spending just as little money as humanly possible. So what we did is we all had Eurail passes, which meant that for a flat fee, you could go on any train anywhere in Europe. So we slept on a lot of trains, and we did a lot of camping. We had handmade backpacks, handmade clothing, and wore shoes only when absolutely necessary. So I'm 10. And I was an early riser, so I would usually be the first one up. And I would kind of be poking around the camp and whatever. Well, the first morning there, and Helsingborg is like right on the southern tip of Sweden. Denmark is right across the strait. So it's just along that strait between, let me think about it, the Baltic and the Arctic Sea. So we're camping on the beach, or really close to it. Well, suddenly, as I'm kind of putzing around in the campground, a whole bunch of people start walking through the campground, all ages, and it just like they all set their alarm clock for the same time. All just like this wave of people coming through the campground. Wow, I'm 10, I am intrigued. And they're heading down towards the water. So I follow along. Well, they get close to the water and they all take off their clothes and they go skinny dipping together. This whole, I don't remember how many people, but like 20 or 30. All ages. And so I, of course, when in Rome, I took off my clothes. I had never, or in Sweden, I had never skinny dipped in the ocean before. And I thought, well, how cool is this? So I went and I did that, and then, we dried off after a while, and then, went on with the day. And then the second day, the same thing. I was waiting that time. The same thing. This wave of people just walking through. And even though, they couldn't understand me, I didn't even try to understand them, but they just took it for granted that another little boy was along to do this daily bathing in the ocean. Well, in all of my 10-year-old bravado, I had this thought, and it's actually the refrain. Yes, these are my people. This is my community. Verse 2. I'm 17 years old. So that makes it 1981. I've been doing yoga for 5 years. I'm a vegetarian. I don't drink. I don't smoke. So you can imagine how well I fit in high school. Yeah. But luckily, the community of yogis was actually quite young where I happened to be taking lessons. I was still the youngest. I was kind of like the younger brother for everyone. But there were a lot that were very young. And so they had more energy than the older yogis. And so they started exploring some of the things that yogis do in their free time. And so, so one of the things was called a kirtan. And so basically all it was is we would get together and dance and sing. So I remember us getting together, and one of my favorite songs, you can sing along if you recognize it. Jai Hanumana, Jai Hanumana, Jai Hanumana, Jai Hanumana, Jai Hanuman, Jai Jai Hanuman, Jai Hanuman, Jai Jai Hanuman. And we'd keep in this circle, we'd keep singing faster and faster and dancing faster and faster. Jai Hanumana, Jai Hanumana, Jai Hanumana, Jai Hanumana, Jai Hanuman, Jai Jai Hanuman, Jai Hanuman, Jai Jai Hanuman. And of course you can imagine the refrain. Yes. These are my people. This is my community. Catching up. Okay, third verse. I gotta keep going. I got 15 minutes. Third verse. It is 2008. After being married for 20 years, my wife and I are separating. And she's moved out. I'm alone in the family house with my son. And I feel that it is a time that I need to find things that I haven't been doing. I often felt during my marriage like I had a third child. I actually have two. Like I had a third child. And that's a really simplistic way to think about it. But anyways, I started looking around for things to do. Well, I came across, actually a friend of mine told me about this wonderful thing called Communidance. It's a very simple, much like this, very simple idea. Just get together and dance together. Every Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, and we still do it. You can see me afterwards. We dance to music following Gabriel Roth's 5 rhythms, which is kind of a wave pattern. It starts out real calm and peaceful and gets real energetic in the middle and then kind of gets peaceful again. So I've been going a few weeks and just really enjoying it. The freedom of just dancing however the heck you wanted to. Like no one's watching, just to dance, enjoy your body. So I was enjoying it. And yet, I often was not, at that time, really aware of other people. But then one time, after a few weeks, right in the middle of the chaotic part, I suddenly stood perfectly still and looked around at everyone around me. And the room was just filled with smiling people, dancing. And you can imagine the refrain. Yes, these are my people. This is my community. Okay, now a bridge in a song, if you don't pay attention to song structure, a bridge in a song is usually something outside of the usual pattern and melody of a song. So in this case, bridge is kind of a comedic outtake. So it is about 7 months ago. My young son, who's been growing up with me in the house, is going off to college, far, Montreal. And I'm suddenly looking at an empty nest. And it's, while on the one hand it's kind of scary, on the other hand it's kind of and I start thinking, it's like, what have I not been doing? You know, almost like after the divorce, it's like, what have I not been doing? And it hits me right then, volleyball. I know, it's not some spiritual practice, but give me a break. The great thing about volleyball is that for me, it's totally selfish. There's no ulterior motive, nothing. So anyways, I go and I sign up down at Parks and Rec, And I start playing on the sand down at Memorial Park. And then that leads me to another place called Boudad's, which is out on Powers. And much to my chagrin, it's a sports bar. Now, I still don't drink. I still don't smoke. I'm still doing yoga every day after all of this time. What the hell am I doing at Boudad's? And yet, after a few weeks, it's like, you know what? As long as I just kind of shoot really quick past the bar, you know, they play good volleyball. They play good volleyball. So anyway, so I'm having fun. I'm playing, and so then one day comes along. One day comes along when it's summertime, and you know, afternoon showers, you never know when they're going to come. It actually rains quite a bit where I live, and yet Boudad's is, you know, it's out by Powers. You never know what might be happening. So I get no cancellation, so I go. Just see, who knows. So I get there. Sure enough, it's drizzling. The sand is wet. And everyone is stacked into the bar. I'm thinking, oh great, you know, okay, fine, I'll just go home. Well, I'm turning around to go when suddenly there are a few people that kind of go out to the door, and they start saying things that I would say. They start going, oh, it's not that wet. Oh, the wind's not that brisk. Oh, it'll clear up later. No, it's not that bad. Sure enough, 2 minutes later, when it's time to play the games, everyone is out of the bar and we're playing volleyball in the rain, in the cold, in the wind. And again, jokingly, the refrain, yes, these are my people. This is my community. Verse 4. A few months ago, a friend of mine told a story here. And that was actually, she invited me to come. She wanted to see friendly faces out in the audience. And that was the first time that I'd been. And I was blown away. This is so simple. I mean, human beings have been doing this forever. In caves, around campfires. I mean, think about it. A person stands up and tells a story. How simple is that? So I was sitting in the dark, just like you are now, and I was listening to these stories. That month, the theme was survival. So there were some very intense stories, not the sort of thing that I would rent a movie about, but the heart and the honesty and the bravery of people telling their stories it touched me so strongly. Thus the refrain. Yes, these are my people. This is my community. Thank you.